Hey guys, so it is Thursday, June 29th. I have no idea what time it is. It's going on 2 o'clock, I know that, or it's actually 2 o'clock. So, today I'm going to talk about conspiracy theories, but first I want to say, I think I have a nice little setup. I'm in my living room. I'm sitting in a chair. It's comfortable. I am far away, but that is because I still need to get a tripod. So I can kind of sit close to the camera and I can adjust it accordingly. So I'm sorry that it looks like I am far away. Alright, so today's conspiracy theory is actually it's true. One of them actually happened. One is a speculation. So the speculation, these both first. Blah, blah, blah. Alright. So both of these are about my work, and it was kind of requested by two of my coworkers to talk about this, and I will, just because they are excited about this particular video. So where I work is Marquee Cinemas. It's a movie theater and it's the oldest one in the area. It's been opened, I think, for 18 or 19 years. So it's actually as old as I am, which is pretty funny. But about a year or so ago, a body was found behind the building. And I haven't experienced any of this. This is the Marquee Ghost, as we affectionately call it. But in one day, I was working with my friend Sammy and my friend Brooke. And the first occurrence was with Brooke. How our front is set up is you have the lobby and then you have the counter and then you have everything behind the counter. But there's like an island type thing that has like our nacho machine, cheese dispenser, stuff like that. And then you have a wall. And then you have a little walkway between the island and the wall. And in that walkway you can just walk through a doorway, and that's into our back room where we have our storage room actually. Or you can make a left and go into the break room. Well, we were kind of like standing kind of in between all of that little area intersection type thing that I just described. And we were talking, and then all of a sudden Brooke kind of stopped, and she looked at me and said, "Did you hear that?" And I went, "Well, no, I didn't." And she said, "It sounded like someone was saying Brooklyn." Now, her name's Brooke. Her name isn't Brooklyn. Brooklyn is just a name that she put on her name tag. But none of the guys will call her Brooklyn. And she said it sounded like one of the guys were saying my name. But they were saying Brooklyn. None of the guys don't say that. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't hear it. And she was like, okay, well, maybe it's my imagination. Well, I actually went home early that day. And the second occurrence was maybe 10-20 minutes before I actually left. And this one was with Sammy. And we were getting ready to clean a theater. And where we were standing out from behind the counter, off to the side in front of the bathrooms. And the manager office, if you're looking straight at the bathrooms from our point of view in the behind the counter, there's a wall, but there's the office door for the managers. And it was closed, and none of the managers were in there. And Sammy had heard something, and she looked over at me and said, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Well, heard what?" And she went, "It sounded like someone was talking in the manager office." And I was like, "I didn't hear it." So she walked over and knocked on the door. No response. All the managers that were there were, there. We were talking to them. And she goes, okay, well, maybe it's just my imagination. And I'm like, okay. Well, we went up and finished cleaning theaters, and then I left. And then I go to work the following day, and I don't remember which one of them told me, because I usually worked with both Sammy and Brooke at the same time. Usually. Keyword. But I don't remember which one of them told me this. It was probably Sammy. So for the purpose of the story, I'll finish it with Sammy saying this to me. But Sammy was telling me that Brooke took over cleaning for me. I'm drinking my Coke. But anyway, she and Sammy finished up cleaning the final theaters and stuff. And something you need to know real quick about how the theaters are set up is you walk up the ramp. Theaters 1 to 3 are on your left. 4 through 9 are on your right. Theater 1 is the very last theater at the end of the hallway. And they said that they were going up to clean Theater 1. And as they were cleaning Theater 1, they heard this loud noise. They dropped their stuff and ran all the way back to the front. And they wouldn't go back up, so they had to get our coworker Amanda to go and pick up I don't know if they actually got her and made her do it, or asked her to do it, or she just did it on her own. But she went back and picked up everything, because they weren't going up there. They were pretty petrified from what they told me. So that's just a theory. It's a conspiracy. It makes sense, though, since a dead body was found behind our building. And people don't believe me when I tell them that Marquis has a ghost. We do. I don't know, though. I think it'd be pretty cool. Maybe we'll go ghost hunting. Maybe I'll do a video and get permission from my general manager to do it. Alright. So, this is the part of the video where Sammy and our friend Molly are super, super, super excited about this video. So, the backstory to this entire thing, and I'll explain the conspiracy theory, essentially, after I explain what all went down. But on Wednesday last week, it was me, Sammy, Molly, and our coworker, one of our assistant managers, and his name's Connor. Well, Connor was in the office, doing manager stuff, which left Molly, Sammy, and I all to our own devices, and we were all in our own section. And this guy comes up, and it's this big guy, and he's in this work jumpsuit type thing. And how I've been describing it to people is that it looks like the jumpsuit Michael Myers wears, with the exception that the dude's has like highlighter yellow stripes on it. And there's a place for his name. But he comes over, and Molly was selling tickets. Sammy and I were working with concessions. Because, I never really get to sell tickets. I sell concessions, which I prefer selling tickets, but that's beside the point. Well, this guy walks over to Molly and says something. It was kind of inaudible, like we were somewhat able to tell what he said, but it was all mumbled. So Molly had asked him, nicely to repeat what he said, and he repeated it. And we understood him at that point. And he looked at her and went, "Man, I know I talk ghetto, but I don't think I sound that ghetto." And we're all kind of looking at each other like, we didn't even, we're looking at each other, giving each other looks, and thinking we didn't say anything like that. All she did was ask for you to repeat yourself. It's common. It's common. Now, it's important to the story that I tell you guys, this guy came in by himself. None of us can recollect if he drove or not, but he did not come in by himself, or he came in by himself. He did not have a little kid with him or anything, or another adult. And he did not buy concessions. He got his tickets, he went to go see Wonder Woman, but he got his ticket and went up the ramp to go to the theater. And at this point, he was in... Wonder Woman was in Theater 6, I think, at this point. Well, a little while passes, maybe an hour after we were done dealing with this guy. This woman and her daughter comes down. And, oh, something else I should say is that the guy did have a backpack on him, and it was somewhat big. So I should probably say that he definitely had a backpack. But anyway, this lady comes down. Molly was, selling a ticket. Sammy was next to Molly. I was the closest one to this woman, so I start walking over. And then she had her bag of popcorn with her, so I figured she just wanted to get it topped off before the movie started or something. And she hides her head essentially by the popcorn bag so no one can see her, but only us behind the counter can. And she says to me, "I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but there's this big black man with a backpack in the theater, and he's acting kind of, suspicious." And it took me a minute to kind of figure out who she was talking about. Because then she mentioned what he was wearing, and Molly went, "Oh yeah, that guy? Yeah, he was creepy." And the woman was like, "Okay, so you guys felt that way too?" And we're like, "Yeah, he was kind of weird. He was pretty weird around us and stuff when he was down here and we were helping him." And she was like, "I really don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything, but is there any way you guys can just make sure, he's good?" And first, I'm going to pause the story real quick. I want to let you guys know that neither of us at the theater are racist. We understand where this woman's coming from. The woman was white. But there was something off about this man. None of us could place it. Connor didn't actually interact with him until almost after the guy left. So Connor had really nothing connected with this guy. But back to the story, she's asking us, if there's anything we can do, and Sammy went, "Well, let me go ask our manager." So she left and went to Connor. And, she's asking me if I thought he was off. I'm like, honestly, I didn't pay attention much to his behavior, but I thought it was weird that he came in wearing a work uniform like that. Because usually we get people that, that do come off, that come in and they'll, be in business suits or they'll be in scrubs because they work. And we get that. And you're not supposed to judge people based on what they're wearing. But it did seem really off that he came in a work uniform like that. And on top of that, the way he acted around us, which now, knowing what I know about the guy, is a red flag. But we're trying to calm down this lady, and Sammy comes back and has Connor with her, and we're all talking, we're all trying to figure out what protocol is. Connor has no idea. We don't know what to do. So he's trying, he's kind of flipping out, trying to get a hold of Billy, one of our other assistant managers, or Mr. Boggs, who is our general manager. And he was able to get a hold of one manager, I think, is what ended up happening, was he was able to get a hold of one. And I don't know which one he got a hold of, but I'm pretty sure it was only one of them. And one of the things we could do, and we told this to the lady, was we would have to try and find a way to figure out how to get everybody else out of the theater without the guy getting suspicious. And he's trying to, And then, I had asked him too, and he's like, I don't even know how we would get around doing that. So we ended up calling the cops. Well, we ended up refunding the woman and her daughter their tickets. And as we're waiting for the cops to show up, this is where the conspiracy kind of comes in. So everything I've said up until this point is true. Now, what I'm about to say is true, but it's a conspiracy on what we were saying about this next guy. But anyway, we're waiting for the cops to come. And, the three of us are kind of, joking. We're like, oh, well, if he has a gun on him, what's our plan? And it was we ended up coming up with, we were going to escape because we have a set of double doors by the men's room that leads outside. And we're like, oh, we'll escape through those doors and bolt for our cars. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll grab my keys, I'll drive. And Sammy went, no, my car's bigger, we'll take mine. And we're like, yeah, we'll take Sammy. So we made Sammy get her car keys, but, that's beside the point. But after all that, this guy comes in, he's riding a bike. He has a white shirt on, he had a backpack on him, and this is a white guy. But this part, I saw him come in. I don't recall what the interaction was with him, because it was mainly Sammy, Molly, and Connor, because I was working concessions. But this guy came in, and this is our conspiracy with this guy, was that he was connected with the guy in the work uniform. But he showed up and said he said something to Molly about being able to play a movie early for him or something. And she was like, oh no, I can't do that. And he said, but you have to. And I guess he started crying and put his head down on the counter and was like saying that she was gonna make him cry. And he was there for maybe like 10-15 minutes, but honestly, we don't know what was up with that dude. It was just very weird that we had all that go down in the morning, and then this guy comes in, wow, this is all going down. And he left, but the way he left is that he didn't go down the hill, he actually went around the building, we're assuming. Because he took off in like a completely different direction than what he should have. But our theory is that he was involved with this guy, the other guy, but it's a theory. That's the conspiracy theory of the entire ordeal from Wednesday. But so the guy on the bike did happen. What his intentions were, we don't know. It was just a very, very awkward and weird interaction my coworkers had with him. And I'm glad I didn't have to deal with this guy. Oh, but, back to the other guy, before the woman, or actually, this is the next part. So after, the guy on the bike happened and stuff, we have a small rush of people come in. So I'm working on Sammy's selling tickets while Molly's off doing something. And then Molly came back. I was selling concessions. So Sammy was running for me. And the guy in the work uniform came down. And Sammy went to help him. He did not want Sammy's help. He wanted help. He wanted to be helped by Molly. So he pointed to Molly. And Sammy got her and said that this dude wants your help, not mine. So Molly went over to help him. And he had originally told her, now remember, first off, I'm going to break off real quick. Remember what I said about the guy earlier. He didn't come in with anyone. He only bought one ticket and it was for himself. Alright, so he told Molly that his little nephew had spilt his tray of popcorn. Now we have a kid's tray. So, Molly was, thinking, well, I don't remember you getting concessions, but okay, whatever. So she went over to Connor, who was out there helping us at this time because we're waiting for the police to come, and had asked him, what she should do, and he went, just give him what he wants. So she gives him a complimentary box of popcorn, or what we affectionately call sharing boxes. And then as she handed it to him, he changed the story and said, well, I had a medium drink and I dropped it. And she was like, well, if you still have the cup, I can just fill it up for you. And he went, well, I throw it away. Do you want me to dig through the trash for my cup? So she got him the small cups that we use for the kids' trays and fill it up with a soda. And, he got frustrated. He was like, well, that's not what I paid for. And in her mind, she was like, well, he didn't pay for anything. But, he sucked it up and he left. And then, after the rush is over, about 5 minutes later, the police show up. And they're not as big as this guy, but they were pretty decently sized men. And they come in, and they're asking Connor, what's the guy look like, what is he wearing, what theater is he in? So Connor, explains to them what he looks like, what he's wearing, where he is, and they head up. So Connor has us all go into the office with him, and we're going to watch on the security cameras what's going to happen. And they get up there, and they're only up there for like a minute or two, and then they come back. And they anyway, they come back, and we meet them out in the lobby, and they're like, yeah, this guy doesn't seem, he doesn't seem high, he doesn't seem drunk, he seems okay. And they said that they, pulled him out in the hallway and talked to them, and that it was all good. And we're like, oh, well, okay. Walked away. Now as I think about it, because Sammy, Molly, and Connor said that the officers didn't talk to him. I'm naive, and now that I think about it, the officers did not. I do agree with them on this. Because it's first you have a big black man, and then you're talking about two decently sized white men and complete officer uniforms with a bulletproof vest, first off. They're both wearing bulletproof vests, which those things are bulky as hell. You would think you would see 3 big men standing in the hallway, or at least have one person you would see like in limb, if they really did pull him out. But, we just let the officers go, and we're like, yeah, okay, guess it's all good. Well, after they left, there had to have been only like 3 or 5 minutes after they left, this guy comes down. But he comes down, and he's pissed. What? I'm filming. But anyway.
For like one person.
This guy's pissed. And I think he really did handle this really, really well. Because all of us working that day were white, and the officers were white, and he could have said, you all are racist, motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't, and I'm really appreciative of that, because I felt like complete shit when he came down and wanted the refund. But he threw his tickets at us and said that he did want a refund and that he's never felt so disrespected in his entire life. And I can imagine, everyone else felt like crap, but I did feel like complete shit, especially since I am white and he was black. Because that could have been taken as a very racist thing, and the woman that complained was white. And it didn't really make me feel good. But that's what happened Wednesday. We go to Thursday last week, and I worked with Sammy and our coworker Amanda. Mr. Boggs and Billy were the managers that evening. So we weren't working with Connor. Connor usually works the mornings and leaves when Billy gets there. Well, I left early. I was only there for like 3 hours. So I have no idea what went down. I didn't personally see what happened Thursday. But, we also worked with our coworker Dave. But anyway, I left, and because Sammy had texted me Friday morning and put me in a group chat with Molly. But I guess what happened was Sammy said something about what happened Wednesday, and Billy said, well, we weren't aware of this. This is new. Connor never said anything like that to us. So Mr. Boggs went into the office and looked at the footage from Wednesday morning and had all of them go in. And in the footage, from what Sammy said, is you can, and Amanda said this too, you can see the guy, after getting his ticket, go up the ramp, and he goes into every single theater before going into his own. But before he even goes into his own theater, he goes into our janitor closet, which is unlocked 24/7. Except, at night it's probably, gets locked up. But he went in there and was in there for about 20 minutes. And in the video, the footage you could see, from what they says, you see him messing with the door handle to make sure, I guess, to make sure that he doesn't get locked in. But when he walked out, he's looking around making sure no one saw him. But that's when it kind of was like, this guy was up to something. But that's what happened Thursday after I had left work. Now to Friday morning, I got a text message. It was probably like an hour before I had to leave. But I get this text message, and it's a group chat with Sammy and Molly, and Sammy said, hey. And Molly goes, Melinda, help! And I'm like, what the fuck? So I text back, I'm like, what's going on? And I don't get a response for like 12 minutes, so I, texted them back going, are you guys okay? And Sammy went, no, and you won't be okay after you hear what we just found out about the guy from Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? So, she's explaining to me everything that I just, told you guys. She explained the videos, she explained what the guy was doing. And she's like, Transformers just came out. We have to be on the lookout. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I'm kind of mentally, freaking out, because I'm like, this was a guy I really felt bad for after everything that went down. And then now hearing this doesn't make me feel that bad now, knowing that our hunch was probably correct. Well, we get to work, we're all kind of like, hopefully Mr. Boggs calls an officer so we can get a report in. And he does, and, we're telling them, some things that could potentially help. Well, the officer was there for maybe an hour or so when we got there. She wasn't there for that long, but she seemed really nice and stuff. And I did tell her, about an hour after he had left, I had seen a guy walking by the DMV, and it's kind of like walking in our direction. And from a distance, it did look like the guy, but I don't know if that was really him. But I did tell her after Sammy said I should tell them. Because Sammy didn't see him, but I tried getting her to look at the guy, but she didn't see him. Well, I don't know if it helped or not. I really don't. But then I got to work on Saturday, and we have pictures of the guy from the security footage hanging up in the break room. And I found out that that man is a registered sex offender. He's a pedophile, and he has at least 30 charges on him. And it's not clear, if all the charges are, if all 30 are children, or if it's a mixture of children and adults. But there's 30 plus charges against this guy. And that kind of sealed it right there. That made me realize we did the right thing by calling the police. We really did. But it happened a week ago. The guy hasn't shown up yet. So I'm not that too concerned. But the only thing that kind of freaks at least the three of us out is, what if we had to go up into that closet and get something the 20 minutes he was in there, now knowing that we know about this man? We'd have no idea what he would have done. Even if this was a white man, we wouldn't know what. Knowing that he has these kinds of charges on him, like, yeah, we're all at least 18, going on 20 or something. We are young. We are women. And it kind of made that, it kind of scared us, because we definitely were not ready, we did not want to go to work. We were a little freaked out. We didn't feel comfortable. And especially now, since I know that he's a sex offender and stuff, it's freaky. And you really, when you work with the public, you really don't know who you're going to be meeting and helping out. So, yeah. So I know this isn't majorly a conspiracy theory video, as I had originally intended. The ghost thing really is a conspiracy theory. I have no idea if it's true or not. I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is have Brooke and Sammy Mully come over and they can, discuss their point of views from these experiences. But as far as I know, I haven't had any interaction with a ghost. The only story I really had interaction with the guy was the guy from Wednesday, and even then I didn't really talk to him. He freaked me out a little bit. I thought he was off, I didn't want to deal with him. I saw how he was with Molly, and thankfully he didn't want, it's bad as it sounds, thankfully he didn't want help from either Sammy or I. But it definitely kind of alarmed me. I kind of had an idea about taking the girls I coach softball with, because I coach 10 to 13-year-olds. And I thought about, if they won last Friday's game, we do the kid summer movies that are free. I would have taken them to go see a movie Tuesday. I would have paid for their concessions. But now, knowing everything I know about that guy, I don't feel comfortable taking them to one of those. Because who knows if that guy will show up again. But, oh well. So, maybe I'll talk to them when I work with them again and see if they want, to film their viewpoints. Who knows? Maybe they'd be okay with it, maybe they won't. But I know, Sammy and Molly are really excited about this video, so I made this video for you guys. I definitely know this is probably something I shouldn't have talked about. But the ghost thing I can talk about. I don't know about the guy from Wednesday, but I've been telling people. You guys seemed excited about it, so I made it for you guys, and hopefully everyone else that has watched this has enjoyed these stories and knows that your hunch is usually correct. Because my mom did say that, she would have felt disrespected, like the guy, if something like that had happened to her. And then, telling her before work on Friday everything that had happened and what we know. She was like, well, maybe that woman really was correct, and she wasn't just freaking out. If you feel threatened by someone, your hunch is generally correct. If you know something isn't right, or you have that gut feeling that something isn't right, don't doubt yourself that you're wrong. Did that come out right? Don't think you're wrong. Don't think you're wrong. And that's what I meant. So if it didn't sound right when I said don't, doubt that you're wrong, I meant don't think you're wrong. But yeah. This video is already long enough. I'm going to end it here. Next week, it will be another Mandela effect. I don't remember the Mandela effects I have for next week, but I know they're interesting, and I'm pretty sure half of them I actually have no opinion on, but I'm going to share them anyway. And I'll tell you which one I think is correct. So first off, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I do not know how to link a subscribe click onto my video. I'll learn how to do that within the next few weeks, hopefully. For next conspiracy theories, just, leave comments. I greatly appreciate comments for, ideas for videos, ideas for conspiracy theories, ideas about Mandela effects. Those would be really appreciative, because even though I have researched Mandela effects and conspiracy theories for pretty much the remainder of the year, I still need to find them for next year. So I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I will see you all next time. Bye.